Hello all, my boyfriend, 26M, and I, 24F, have been together for a year and a half. Overall, things are good. Occasionally, he has been overbearing, but he's working on it and has made great strides in improving. We've lived together for around 6 months. For background, I have a mole on the outside of my lady region. It's about the size of a pencil eraser. It's never been a problem for me, and I don't mind it. It's hidden even in the skimpiest of bikini bottoms, doesn't hurt or get in the way of anything, isn't lumpy, doesn't grow any weird hair, etc. It's just a harmless little bump on the side of my vulva that I've had since I was born. Even when I'm not clothed, it isn't visible unless my legs are spread, so it's the kind of thing only me and my intimate partners have ever seen. I've had an inkling that my boyfriend has never been a fan of this mole, but he won't admit it. Sometimes, he'll absent-mindedly rub it between his fingers with his nose crinkled, an expression just short of disgust, but when I asked him about it, twice, he insisted the not quite disgusted facial expression was unrelated. I assumed he didn't like it but knew it was none of his business or concern and probably didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to sound rude. He's asked me once if I've ever thought about removing it, to which I replied that it's always been a part of me and if I wasn't interested in removal. Which brings me to the reason why I'm posting. My birthday was a few weeks ago. I've been getting Brazilian waxes since I was a teenager. It's just my personal preference. As a birthday present, my boyfriend prepaid for almost a year's worth of waxes at the med spa I've always gone to. This seemed like a great gift, useful, thoughtful, and saves me a ton of money. This med spa does a variety of other services as well as waxing. They do tattoo removal, laser hair removal, makeup tattoos, Botox, etc. I've had a standing appointment there every 3 weeks for years. This morning, I went into my regular appointment. My waxer, who I've known for years, gushed about how kind it was of my boyfriend to call in for my services, and we went about the wax as normal. There's an oil she uses that helps to soothe the skin after the wax, and I was waiting for that to soak in when she brought out a wand I wasn't familiar with. I asked her what it was for, and she said, the freezing. I assumed she was prepping for her next client and stayed on the table. Then she began wiping the oil off and applied a cream directly over my mole. At this point, I sat up and asked her what she was doing. Oh, this cream helps to numb the area before I freeze the mole. Then we'll cut it off, and you'll just need a stitch or two and a bandage, and then you'll be ready to go. We fumbled through the awkward conversation that followed, and the bottom line is that my boyfriend had paid for my mole to be removed as well, $200, without telling me. The receptionist who books the appointments assumed that I knew, and I sign a yearly waiver for all services from them, so it was basically just slipped in. The receptionist said that my boyfriend asked about the process over the phone, so he was aware that this procedure involved cutting something off my body and would require anesthetic and stitches. Guys, I'm furious and cannot tell if my reaction is justified or if I'm seeing red for no real reason. This feels like such a breach of my personal boundaries, not to mention disrespectful of my bodily autonomy. I know it's small, but it's plastic surgery. There's no medical reason for having this mole removed, it would be entirely cosmetic. I obviously didn't go forward with the procedure, and now I'm struggling with whether my anger is appropriate to the situation. I haven't talked to him about this yet. It happened this morning, and I'll be seeing him this evening when I get home from work. Right now, I'm thinking of breaking up with him, but I feel like that might be an overreaction and can't tell if my judgment is clouded. What would be an appropriate way to address this situation? Update 1 day later. First off, I just want to thank everyone for their support and validation of what I was feeling. I had been second-guessing myself and feeling like I was overreacting, but after more reflection, and what happened later in the evening, I feel so vindicated in my anger. When I got home, he nonchalantly asked me how my appointment went. I managed to stay calm and told him how angry I was that he had tried to arrange for the mole to be removed without my consent or knowledge, especially because I found out he was informed while booking the appointment that it would involve anesthetic and stitches. He said that he wasn't sorry because he thought he was doing me a favor by forcing me to bite the bullet and get it done. He said the only thing he was sorry about was signing my name on the waiver because he knew he should not have done that. Record scratch. Wait, what? At my appointment, my waxer had said something along the lines of, "But you signed the waiver," when I was blindsided by her prepping for the mole removal. She was confused that I wasn't aware of the mole removal plan. I had assumed she was referring to the waiver I had signed just a few weeks ago, the one I sign every year for my regular services at the med spa. I was in a hurry to leave, so I didn't press further. I just made it clear I did not want a mole removal, gathered my clothes, and left. As it turns out, she wasn't talking about the annual general waiver. When my boyfriend booked the appointment, a separate waiver was emailed over, which he signed as me and sent back to them. We are in a South American country where plastic surgery is extremely common. I'm the only woman in my office without breast implants. I was born in America and haven't quite subscribed to this aspect of the culture, so things are a lot more lax here than they might be in the US. So, not only did he schedule and pay for plastic surgery on my lady region, but he also forged my signature on a legal document giving permission for it to be done. There is no coming back from this, and I told him so. He started crying and saying he just wanted me to be the most beautiful I could be. Thankfully, I was too angry to cry in front of him. I just told him to leave. He packed some clothes, and I put the rest of his belongings in a detached garage that he has a key to. I made him leave his house keys and told him the garage locks would be changed by the end of the week. I own the house and am changing the locks on the doors this evening, except for the garage. I'm giving him this week to clear out the rest of his things from there. I have him blocked on social media and feel very refreshed, like a weight has been lifted. I'm sure I will hurt later and miss him, but this showed me a side of him that I absolutely cannot live with. I may not be as tan, as smooth, or as big as all the women around here, but I deserve better, I know that much. And now, my mole and I are going to settle down with a bottle of wine and download Tinder. Thank you again for everything.